Big cities are gonna be fine because they have growth.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Our growth comes from inflation and they're capping our inflation at 2.5%.
and this explains why Guth is not returning my phone calls and my emails.
Because he's all for it.
That's what this is all about.
Well, you just keep bothering him.
Yeah,
Well, I need more than just me, I need everybody.
We'll bring him in. We'll
yeah,
slap him
Invite
around.
him.
a little.
write him down.
Well, he's gonna be here, that's what I was gonna bring up, he's gonna be here Saturday.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, we are out of closed session and I,
We can go into closed session on that.
You might
Do
be
what?
here, Tony.
That's where it says we can go in.
I gotta go.
yeah, me too.
So we're
Oh, this, oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for like, what's he talking about?
Oh. I know you had a question on whether we could go out of closed session, so we found the state.
No, I understand. Yeah, I know.
Well, Mike had
That's
used the term
2017
exempt before. I've never heard of it.
I was just saying that actually under the law, it's supposed to be that the first. The union's proposal and the city or county or the district, whatever it is, counter proposal is supposed to be done in. An open. Just so, okay, we know where you start,
Oh,
you know, and then beyond that. you
But I don't think that
Do
was,
whatever you wanna do.
because we
So,
had that,
We had that last Wednesday.
yeah,
I didn't get any, yeah, was that Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday when you had the 9 o'clock.
yeah, because we had
I
mentioned
know,
that,
did see.
because I think we said it in the meeting
All right,
that Monday that we were gonna have that,
that's fine.
because it was just two of us, so we didn't have to post it.
Yeah. Gonna be a quorum, I guess, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just two of us here at the meeting.
Okay,
I'll let you know more.
What day was that again, Sandy?
who deserted you?
I'm gonna.
Or you
What
just
day
leave
was
for-
what, Bruce?
I'm sorry, Bruce.
Thursday.
That you were on, we were close on the quorum, just so I write it down.
No, it was just when we did the first negotiations.
Oh, okay, all right.
That one was
That
just
was
Dave and
Wednesday, the 22nd.
Thank you, I didn't have my,
Yeah, how's it going?
Yes, there's a public. hearing.
all right, okay, so we're back in open session now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Tony and Dean are up next.
Let's see. You gotta get the seat there. I do.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but you sure can.
You sure?
We can get a closer look at you that way.
The owl. will
Easier
catch ya.
target,
Just like every time I see Kruger,
Yeah.
easier target.
get frisked.
Oh, Tony, that's why we all love you.
Well, what I'm here about is litter. And what we would like to do, I talked with Superintendent Murray. And what we'd like to do is educate the third graders. And maybe the seniors in high school. That we don't litter in Humboldt County. We've picked up. Nokomis Park. Because people pull up there, they have their lunch or whatever, drink their beer. And throw stuff out at the dam. It's my understanding that it's $1,000 fine for throwing litter out within 100 foot of the waterway. I'm not sure exactly what the fine is for littering in Iowa. But we have tried to police the area. All over, throughout Humboldt County, the ditches. According to Keep Iowa Beautiful, over 50% are probably beverage cans that are thrown out. I helped our Saviors one year. We walked 2 miles north 169 into town, and the beverage of choice looks like Busch Light. Hate to say that.
I believe that's the state beer, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, we want to start with third graders. I've talked with Fairway and Hy-Vee, and they will supply badges. This can be litter patrol. And then Kent Thompson with the paper said that any adults that want to back us, he would probably print up a card stating that, you know, they're part of the litter patrol. Just something to make them feel like we're all together in this situation. So I would, now I'm probably preaching to the choir because you guys wouldn't litter for anything. And, but anyway, we want to keep Humboldt County beautiful. Our news medias, I think, are very friendly, and the fact that if I thought about the Humboldt Independent and how much friendlier, if you take the initials. Take Humboldt Independent, take the initials, and it says hi, and that's as friendly as anything. KHBT, I was thinking about the other day, and says, keep Humboldt beautiful, thanks.
Very good.
Well, you're great with acronyms.
Yeah.
But I've got 28 people that I've talked to, and they said, we'll back you
Awesome,
on this.
good idea. Don't we have the highway? Adopt a highway state, not
State.
county, yeah.
But I'd like to see our Humboldt County be the most beautiful county in Iowa. And so we're known as that. And we will not tolerate garbage thrown out. Because all they're doing is spreading diseases, because somebody has to turn around and go and pick it up.
Yep.
And I found anything and everything. Officer Jones and I were looking for habitat for pheasants when we drove over to Bradgate and that little river park down there. We picked up litter there. We come back the back way. We picked up, I have a 5-gallon pail in my truck all the time. We picked up litter all the way back from Bradgate. And Lower Sheldon Park is notorious.
Yeah.
That they throw things out, they could be within 10 foot of the container.
Mhm.
And 2 days in a row, well, Monday and a Wednesday, I picked up down at the Nokomis Park, stuff that had blown from Lake Nokomis. Beverage cups. Plastic sandwich things, and people throw their sack out. That, they wouldn't even put it in the trash container there, they just set it there.
Yeah, there's plenty of trash containers
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They just-
And go to
they're
any-
all over.
Unfortunately, they're just too darn lazy to get off their butt and walk it over there. and
That's right.
throw it in.
Well, it's like yesterday, I brought our recyclables into Hy-Vee there yesterday. And of course, you know, you gotta take a knife and cut the tape off the boxes and flatten them down and stuff.
Right.
Somebody, I don't know, must have got a box of oranges or something, or grapefruit or something, but here they throw the boxes on the ground right by the.
Put the stuff in it.
Yeah, well, no, there's no,
Oh, I thought maybe it was, I thought it was rotten grapefruit and oranges.
and the containers, I mean, there was enough room in there to put the cardboard in. I mean,
Yeah.
usually that thing is full, but it was pretty empty. And then underneath the next one, somebody threw some rotten pumpkins or whatever under there, so they're still sitting there. And then I found a pair of underwear under there and stuff, and I mean, it's just crazy, so.
I don't even want to tell you what we found at the boat ramp out at Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Here's,
we
here's
threw it
the-
away, so.
here's the Iowa code for littering on the highway. Pass it around, look at that.
Total of 158.
Yeah, the total fine's $158.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then Tony talking about Lake Nokomis and stuff, that's in the city of Humboldt. So that's under city ordinance. And I found in the city ordinance of Humboldt, there's like 4 or 5 different places where it mentions littering. You know, whatever, but those aren't scheduled fines. Those would be, they'd have to appear in court on that one. And then I had another one here. Let's see, there's that one. And then there's one for state parks, which, you know, we have like Gotch Park down there. Basically, the wording's the same, you know, no person shall place any waste, refuge, litter, or foreign substances in any area or receptacle except those provided for the purpose. And that ends up being a what is that, about $108 fine for that one, so that's in state parks, so. I mean, there's laws out there for this and stuff, but I think Rick probably hit the nail on the head, they're too damn lazy to
Right.
do what they need to do, so.
Well, get rid of the can before you get home.
Yeah.
What about the, Dean, you wanna,
I mean, what we pick up
Yeah.
is like television.
Yeah.
how about a mattress?
Mattresses.
Yeah.
Dean, you wanna
How
speak,
about a refrigerator door?
Oh, yeah,
you wanna speak?
There was one laying in the middle of the road yesterday. I picked it up, put it on the shoulder.
yeah, on Pine and yeah, I saw it laying there. That was
Yeah.
the idiot that put it there.
I couldn't get it in my-
Can you speak to the difficulty of enforcing these rules and regulations? Oh, I've been through this. My hobby is
Unfortunately,
going up and down my ditches, picking up said litter
yeah.
and using the refundable cans towards our grandkids' college fund.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's disgusting.
It is.
And people are foolish, if not to use any too strong a language, but it's ridiculous. I mean, I like Tony's idea. You know, it's good to start with younger children in third grade. How about we educate the people that are past elementary school? And this is a very nice county. It's a very clean part of the state. It doesn't take much to take your McDonald's bag home and put it in your garbage.
You pull in a gas station. and they've got-
Garbage cans right there.
Yes,
While your gas is pumping, you could clean your car and put it all right in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But even at Lake Nokomis, they usually have
Maybe
trash cans.
There's
or
a can.
something there.
there's trash cans and dumpsters everywhere. But like I said, Dean, speak to the difficulty. I've found in garbage, I'm sure probably Tony has too, when you're trying to clean things up in areas. With the receipt from the garbage, from their transaction.
Yep.
That doesn't even hold up in court, so to speak.
No,
So it's the enforcement of this is exceedingly difficult, unfortunately, but if there's ever a way, you almost have to catch them in the act.
we have kept in the act.
We've torn open garbage before and found mail
Mhm.
from the person and.
You can't, that doesn't hold.
Dean and someone stole my garbage.
Yeah.
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 I know our dear friend Bruce is on the Zoom. He has a methodology of taking care of that, but I like that, Bruce.
I did, and I don't really care.
No,
I found it and I took it back to him.
Uh,
so it's, Tony, I commend you for that.
Yeah, this-
The education, I mean, obviously you teach kids, you learn a lot from kindergarten to third grade. This would certainly be one of them.
I even remember over by Thor that one time, somebody knocked their walls out and stuff, and then where the old railroad tracks were, somebody just dumped, I mean, piles and piles of plaster and lath and you gotta be kidding me.
Good
So,
place to start, Tony, is talk to the extension office. Cause every year in September, for I don't know how many years, over 10, 15 years, the wife and I have taught safety, fire safety.
Okay.
I teach the rescue to get out of the burning
Sure.
building. She teaches the weather station. But they take the third graders from all the area schools around, not just Humboldt. And the next day or the next week, we'll go over to Eagle Grove and do it over there, and that covers from Belmont to all the way around Eagle Grove. And it's all the third graders,
That's a good idea.
and you might get it where you can put a little seminar in and train them, because they go through the highway patrols there on ATVs. The REC's there to teach farm safety. They got a tractor out there they teach farm safety on. They got horses out there that vets talk to them on. And different things, it's all safety related. And it's an all-day deal. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning and it'll run till 1:30 in the afternoon.
Thank you.
But they bust the kids in. That might be a place to start to get something like
That's a good
that.
idea.
We have a captive audience of young people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell them, don't jump out the window, you'll break your leg, and every one of them will jump.
Well,
Anyway.
Dave, that's a good point.
Okay. that is- yep,
And,
okay.
but thank you for doing that. And the earlier you start and learn good habits when you're young and they
Yep.
carry on, but let's get the older folks that,
Yeah.
it's
Get the
not
word out.
too many third graders throwing their McDonald's bags out.
And I thought high schoolers too.
Yes, that's a good
Had third
idea.
graders, seniors, because when they get out, you know,
All right. Hey, thanks,
Thank you.
Tony. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Tony.
it.
Thank you.
thank you for your ear.
Have our
Yeah.
bell.
Bet.
You bet.
Anything we can do to help you. All right, Brittany, you're up next. You're in the hot seat now.
Sorry about a half hour late.
Yeah, we're a little bit.
Thank you for your time.
You bet.
You
Thanks
bet.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, thank
Okay, you bet. Thanks, Dean.
Top of Wolverine Hill, that is how long it takes to get cheeseburger and fries, because when they get to the top of the hill, they throw it right out there where they turn the corner. Hardy Sacks,
And your beer cans,
Dairy Queen, always.
they go around the corner and go a half mile down and you got all your beer cans and pop cans.
Yeah.
It's a great dump.
Yeah.
ground.
Yep.
It's always a benefit.
All right, Brittany, go ahead and we'll let you get started.
Well, first, thank you guys for letting me come today. I'm Brittany Rice. I work at Community and Family Resources, which, as you know, serves Humboldt County. I manage our problem gambling treatment program for this area. And March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month. So I've just put together a proclamation and have asked that Humboldt County join CFR and they changed the name, Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. That's what they changed it to, and declaring March Problem Gambling Month. So I'm just gonna read the proclamation for you guys. So whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling and the Iowa Department of Public Health and Human Services and Community and Family Resources has designated March 2023 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Whereas problem gambling is a public health issue affecting millions of Americans of all ages, races, and ethnic backgrounds. Whereas problem gambling has a significant societal and economic cost for individuals, families, businesses, and communities. Whereas problem gambling is treatable and treatment is effective in minimizing this harm to both individuals and society as a whole. Whereas numerous individuals, professionals, and organizations have dedicated their efforts to the education of the public about problem gambling and the availability and effectiveness of treatment. Whereas the National Council on Problem Gambling, the Iowa Department of Public Health and Human Services, and Community and Family Resources invite all residents of Humboldt County, Iowa to participate in Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Therefore, I, Sandy Loney, did I say that right? Sandy Loney?
Very good.
Okay.
Impressive. Everybody gets that right the first time.
Okay. Chairperson, Humboldt County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the month of March 2023 as Problem Gambling Awareness Month in Humboldt County, Iowa, and encourage all citizens to support the National Council on Problem Gambling, the Iowa Department of Public Health and Human Services, or of Health and Human Services, and Community and Family Resources in their efforts to mitigate the gambling-related harm throughout Iowa and across the nation. At that for you.
Okay,
I make a motion to let the chairman sign that.
Second that.
okay, all those in favor?
All right.
I,
Okay, it's unanimous. It carries. Here we go.
Good work, Brittany.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. We do have what?
Do you need a copy also?
I would like a copy.
Okay.
Do you think it's growing, the gambling issues?
Yeah, actually, in the past month, I don't know what's happened, but we have had gambling clients calling for help out of the woodwork lately. Like, we went like 8 months with nobody, and in the past month, I think we've had 6 or 7 calls.
I think the government funds are drying up and now they're spending their own money.
I think that's probably part of it, yeah. Well, and we're seeing, I've seen more of the sports betting as well with all the apps
Yeah.
and stuff that are out there, like that's definitely a big issue.
I can see where that could be a problem, very, because it's so accessible.
Simple.
It is, and like Bitcoin and stuff, people don't realize they're spending actual money, like it just doesn't click. Kind of like in the past where you'd swipe a card and you wouldn't think about it being cash. Bitcoin is even worse for that.
Yeah.
So definitely the online stuff is getting to be a bigger issue.
Well, it's nice that they, whoever the gambling industry or whoever makes money from this, that's no big deal.
Sign it.
Of course, there's gonna be more issues like this.
Right,
And I
right.
think with
Well,
the
they-
sports betting, you got a new group of gamblers,
Mhm.
younger
Do you want me?
people are gambling, college age kids.
Oh, absolutely,
They
and
gambled before, because typically you think a gambler, the
They're going to
senior
the
citizen
casino.
holding the slot,
right.
They don't have to go there.
they don't have to go.
Yeah, they don't have to go. And in reality, kids even can easily do the sports betting
Because
because
there's no tracking.
there's no
Right.
tracking of it. They could easily borrow somebody's phone and use it or whatever. So
Right.
it's just getting to be a bigger issue.
Of course, yes.
So they were even talking about that at the Super Bowl. Leon watched CNBC and they were on that marketing stuff, you know, and everything and how much the stocks.
Oh,
are all
yeah.
going up Because
Oh, yeah.
everybody can do it and it's more and more states are approving it. Because I think your state has to,
All the
Hold on,
state
I
gets a
think.
cut.
yeah, well,
That's
true.
why they do it.
Mhm.
'Cause they
True.
get revenue from it.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, they get the revenue, but do we get any revenue?
grabbing them wherever they can.
Yeah, we do have one full-time gambling counselor that services all of our area that CFR covers and we call it northern area of CFR. So we have one particular person that is specifically dedicated to gambling and I oversee them. But basically, if somebody in your county were to call 1-800-BETS-OFF, they would talk to my counselor.
Oh, okay, so it
Good.
goes.
It is
to
more of a
Yeah.
local person you're talking to.
Yep, yep. It is more of a local, so they would either talk to Morgan, who is my counselor, or they would talk to me. So one of the two of us would answer that phone.
Good. I
Oh, well, that's,
hope you can keep up.
yeah.
So far we are, but like I said, they're kind of coming out of the woodwork right now and I don't know what happened. Like I asked our prevention staff, I was like, did you guys put a billboard somewhere? Because all of a sudden we're getting all these calls and we weren't for a while. So it's definitely becoming a bigger
Couple
issue.
buses come through town a week ago, last week. Picked people up out by Hardee's and took them up to Minnesota, the casino.
Mhm.
Oh,
Give
yeah.
them $150 chip, or it cost them $150. They get $50 to play on the machines. They get their motel room and their meals free.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
that
wow.
lodging, or the bus trip.
Well, I think the gambling age in Minnesota is 18, not 21. So I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
younger
probably
there too.
Oh.
But there again, did you go?
I was gonna say,
That's kind of for the older folks. They
love
love
a problem winning the population, because that's where I'd fall under. I have a problem winning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done it
that's-
twice and I've never done it again because I keep losing.
Well, see,
Like, why?
When you
That's
win,
the
that's.
problem. If they're all winning, there wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I've never won, so I guess I don't have to worry about it. So,
I don't win either. So.
thanks, Brittany. We
Yes.
appreciate.
Thank you very
coming
much.
out.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys so much.
Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. Did you,
Sorry, we're a half hour
did you need
late.
to copy
I-
that one?
I gave,
Okay,
I
you-
signed
okay.
one for,
Okay,
so I signed one.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get out of here because I gotta drive the ink. Thank you, guys.
That way.
And it just creates more problems that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Lutz, Lutz, sorry, I do it.
Yeah.
You have a name just like mine.
Always said it.
And so have I. Yeah, now I get called that a lot, trust me.
Nobody's called Ben Loads since he started.
No, that's fine.
I do.
Well, I'm glad, I'm proud of you, Eric.
Well, and I try to, and I tell everyone how to pronounce your last name. So we're trying to get there. It's a slow learning curve. If you want to pronounce your name correctly.
Looks like Lutz, that's fine. Got a couple things on the agenda for today. The first is to approve a quote for snow equipment on our recently purchased 2023 Mack Granite 64 FR, I think,
Yeah. 64 BR.
BR. Yes. So I got quotes from Ford Dodge with highway truck and Henderson over east. The quotes come back, as you can see from the breakdown. Both are very similar as far as the snow equipment that they're quoting. Slightly different light package. Boxes are identical. Sanders. One has a smaller wing on it. The Henderson has an 8-foot wing as opposed to a 10-foot wing. The Hinky equipment, we've been told, has a universal lift group. So if needed, they could hook onto a Henderson plow to be able to run if something were to happen with
Oh, really?
with a hinky plow. Yep. Yeah, basically there's the breakdown on the equipment and the cost of the equipment.
What, who you're purchasing this from, have you been?
In the past, it's been part of our purchase with Don's truck. We've bought the truck and the equipment from Don's,
Or does Don get the snow equipment?
from Henderson. So
So most of our stuff is Henderson.
all of our stuff right now is Henderson. Yep.
Like who works with everything that we have then? Interchangeable, when it's interchangeable, you said you
Yes.
just could unhook and they could hook onto that.
Yes, yep. Like I said, they're both good equipment. The difference is whether or not you want to keep things relatively local, where all of our service and repair can be done in Fort Dodge, either from Reese or Highway Truck. Or if we have to go to Fort Dodge and Manchester, which is where Henderson is located. So you're talking east of Waterloo. Which is why, that's why Don's truck uses them, because they're close. So
Don's truck uses
Henderson,
Henderson, and Hinky is for
Fort Dodge. Hinky is Fort Dodge.
Okay,
I'm confused,
I was confused too.
because where's Don's truck located?
Don's truck is
Over east.
located over by Waterloo,
Yeah.
Fairbank.
Fairbanks.
Along. Thank you.
Hinky is Fort Dodge. That's Highway Truck.
Yeah, I got a question. Down below here, you got the, switch to an 8-foot wing to 10, it's $1,200 too much.
Yep. Hot shift PTO, that's another $600 deduction.
Okay, explain that to me.
The hot shift PTO. Okay, so basically the way that we spec the equipment is the PTO is always live. That means that you've always got hydraulic flow. By switching over to a hot shift, basically you would engage the PTO.
Yeah, and a bunch of.
Yeah, so if you have a hydraulic leak and it's a constant mesh setup, it's gonna push all of the hydraulic fluid out. If you have it as a manual engage, the way I understand it, you
Shut
shut it
off,
off.
so you don't-
What do you
And
have
you
on
can limp back to.
most, what do you have
the
on
shed.
most?
Does that sound all right, Bruce?
Yeah,
Okay,
What do you have on your current setup?
our current setups are constant mesh.
Yeah, so this hot shift is kind of a nice thing.
Right, and it's a reduction in cost.
Yeah, that's usually considered nice.
More money.
Right.
I know.
Well, that's because you have to engage it.
Yeah, it's,
Versus it's always on.
Right,
this one here, you can shut it off if you have to, otherwise you could always leave it on too.
Right. And then there's a reduction if we switch down from a 6100 control module to the 5100. And it looks like Henderson quoted. I'm sorry,
So-
they quoted the 3100 model, and
Yeah,
to
but they-
upgrade to the
the upgrades-
5100, it'd be another $1,700.
So,
5100.
so wow, if you figure that deduction in there.
It's a larger swing.
Yeah, makes a bigger swing.
5100 controller, the direct controller.
The 6100 is the newer controller. It's
What do you
one
have?
that you can hook multiple cameras up to, where you can have one camera in the back of the box showing the sand discharging. You can have one camera on the wing, showing whether you're getting into the rock shoulder or not. And I believe they usually have the other one on the sander spinner, or I've also seen where they have one on top of the cab so that you can see out in front of your plow blade. So,
We have those type of controllers on most of the trucks now.
the one that we looked at that Hancock County bought had 3 cameras on it.
That would be like a.
And that would be an add-on down here for $900. It's $300 a camera is what it is.
So what's the controller then?
So the controller controls the rate of application of sand, salt mixture. Obviously, the 6100 has a control screen similar to this size where it shows the different cameras that are hooked up to it. It's all basically with the force commander and your control box. It's how you plow up, plow down, wing out, wing in. It controls all of that.
So which one do you want?
Yeah, which
I
one?
would say the 6100. It's the new
What's
one.
what's
It's the
on
one that I'm looking at Hinky.
Well, that's, I mean,
So,
you're,
I mean-
you're happy with spending less money, I'm real happy with that.
right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about, what are the length?
The wings that we've got on right now are 10-foot wings, but they are front post wings. The wing setup that we're looking at right now is a postless wing, which means it's mounted to the frame behind the passenger door and in front of the tandems. It's what a lot of counties are switching to as far as their wing setup. They're getting away from the
That's right, you use the
traditional.
camera so you can see it's.
Right, yep.
Makes
There's multiple configurations. I've got the files here where you can see the wing configuration. Like I said, they've got it set up where it can be behind the door and the other brace post is in front of the tandems. They've also got it where that other brace post is either between the tandems or behind the tandems.
Somebody from.
Well, we're throwing them for a loop because we're putting it on a different truck than they're used to driving
Yeah,
anyway.
we
so-
got a different
Yeah.
truck too, yeah, so, and the same guy will drive the same.
Why not
truck.
do it all at one
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah, so the guy that's set up to get this truck will be Bob Wolf out of the Hardy shop. He's used to driving over the.
You're comfortable with the way it's listed?
I'm comfortable with the way that highway truck has listed the equipment. The only thing that I might do is drop to an 8-foot wing, add the hot shift PTO and add the cameras. So it'll end up saving us about $900 by adding those three options.
We're going.
For Dodge, we're going with highway truck.
Yeah.
truck.
If you guys are fine.
I'm good with
The
that.
local is better than the far away.
Then everything's close. It's not like we're not important.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We're going to Reese, small.
Second,
With Ben's recommendations on the add-ons or deducts.
Okay.
We have a motion in a second. All those in favor?
I,
I,
Yes, it carries. All right. Hey, Rick, you're freezing out our poor press.
Oh.
Thinking about starting a fire. Yeah. Yeah.
The second item that I've got is to approve the quote for the 2023 pavement striping. We did get a quote from Vogel Traffic Services, who's done our pavement marking for the last 15 years. The prices did go up a little bit on the cost of paint. Railroad markings stayed about the same. Stop bars went up, I think $5 each. The crews have been reliable that come and do the work here. They're dependable. The job that they do is good and professional. I don't have any issues with them. It would be my recommendation to accept their pavement marking quote.
well, it says, this is per gallon. We have a total cost allocated for this year.
For this year, we do not. I'm still in the process of going through and picking out which roads
What are you gonna do tomorrow?
we're gonna do them. Yeah, but typically we spend about 50,000
That's kind of
on pavement markings.
approximately about the same every year.
Yeah, usually we try and range around the 2,000 to 2,500 gallon range.
Okay.
Well, I'd make a motion that if you're happy with this and continue on, to approve the 2023 pavement striping to Vogel Traffic Services.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Unanimous carries. All right.
The third item that I've got on the agenda is to accept with regret the retirement of Larry Jensen. The last day that he will be working is this Friday. And he's got about, well, he just had his anniversary, so he's got 4 weeks vacation that'll pay him through basically April 4th or something like that.
He's not old enough. You tell him that.
Yeah, he's 64, so.
You tell him he's not old enough to retire.
He's gonna help his boys out for race season this year, and yeah.
Good for him.
With regret, we will accept his resignation.
Thank him for his years of
Yeah.
working for the county here.
I'm gonna vote against it.
I always told the guys, I'm like, there's always a chance they could not accept it.
I'm all for it.
All right, so I take it. Do you do a motion on that?
Yeah,
And vote, okay.
I made the motion.
Second.
Who's like, okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
I,
With
with regret,
regret.
he's still not old enough.
The last item that I got on the agenda is to approve the all systems permit map as I've attached. We did get those 3 bridges evaluated. There was no problem with any of the 3. That is the St. Joe Bridge, the Gotch Park Bridge, and the small bridge over by the Severs Griffith Quarry on Florida Avenue. The map that you guys have here should allow every elevator to be able to get to a state route to get to the nearest ethanol plant with their grain.
Okay.
So
Would
Just-
you expect any additions to this with bridge inspections?
eventually, yeah, I can see east of Bode, there's a bridge that could be evaluated, which Bode's got the hardest route to get their grain in right now. I can send out to our bridge inspectors and add that one bridge. Otherwise, yeah, you look at Laverne, Livermore, Renwick's on a state route, so they're already covered. Hardy, Thor, Humboldt now. Pioneer, even though they're not a town. Gilmore and Bradgate all have routes where they can get their grain from the elevator to a state route.
Refresh our memory on this whole permit thing. I know this is the state dangling the carrot for money or overweight permits, but
So-
explain the overweight permit thing, Ben.
So the overweight permit allows them to carry an additional, I believe it's 12% over their axle configuration. So your standard, most of the guys that are hauling grain, they're hauling with a standard 5-axle configuration. And they're currently capped out at what, 80,000 pounds,
yeah, either
Is that
80 or
right?
90.
80 or 90. So you take that times the 12%, that means that
12%.
the 90 can now haul roughly 101,000 pounds. So it's enticing to the guys that are hauling the grain because for that $500 permit, they can haul additional grain and they're getting paid by the pound typically. So
And this is a yearly permit?
this is a yearly permit that they get from the DOT. It's $500 for them for the year. 75% of that goes to the counties that have opted in. With, of course, the state taking 25% off the top.
Will they have to have 7 axles in to call all this?
Yes,
Okay, that's
the
what I
7
thought.
axles will get them to 96 legal, but then you
Right.
get the
But then
variance.
you get the additional 12. So any configuration it adds.
Whatever configuration you have.
It adds
12% when they buy the permit.
As well as a farmer that's pulling out of a field that only has 4 or 5, excuse me. When you're not loading in an elevator, you get that variance too, because you're not loading it off a scale.
No, the way I understand it is if you're a farmer and the governor has made a proclamation, which she
You
does
can go
every
to
year,
90.
you follow that other
Yep,
scale,
yep.
which I think is 12.5% or something.
Yep.
I wonder if they'll do that
Proclamation.
proclamation again.
The difference is whether you're hauling your own grain or you're hauling
For hire.
for hire.
Higher.
Yeah, and Bruce, how about them Brent wagons that hold 750 bushel?
Yeah, they don't get weighed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I know you love that topic.
Ben, how much of it, oh, to clarify the state thing, they send 75% back to the counties
Mhm.
after the permit payment. But they divvy that up, they take it from a pool and you don't get
So
it
if-
back, you don't get the money back to a specific county.
So like the ones that are purchased from Humboldt County don't come back just to Humboldt County.
They put it in a pool.
They put it in a pool.
And each county that's opted in gets a percentage of the pool.
Right, so for the month of January, I forget what it was. Basically, of the 25 counties that had opted in, they each got $10,000.
Yeah, because they get a,
Roll
they get
back.
up the pool of the permits.
Right,
from the
now obviously, as more counties opt in. And
They're gonna start fighting
the
over that money more.
newness fades away, you know, because everybody went out and bought this permit at the start of the year without seeing the fine print. Where counties had to opt in,
They're gonna be more often.
so there's gonna be less, yeah, I mean, as more counties opt in, you're gonna see more people purchasing this permit.
More people purchase it, more people, so it could
Right.
change. You
Yeah.
know,
So of course, the feds have opted out. They don't want these heavier loads on I-35.
This is only state and county
This
roads.
is state county roads. Yeah.
Is this gonna, I mean, be a huge impact, you think, on county roads that we have?
I don't think so. Not right away. I mean, we've got rutting on our blacktop roads right now from all of the truck traffic hauling. Whether it's grain, rock, whatever.
yeah,
You know,
I mean, it will probably
the
shorten the
additional-
life of your roads a little bit.
Could, you know, but like we said, it's nothing different than the farmer pulling out of the field right now
Mhm.
with the governor's proclamation. They're already hauling these
Loads anyway.
loads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben, do we have to mark those roads then?
So we submit this map to the DOT, they'll end up putting it on the website and then. I told that Gabe that calls me about weekly that I would give him a call and let him know. When we had more routes approved.
I see.
So-
All right.
And wasn't, when we first started talking about this, you could opt in, but what is it, a 3-year time frame? Or 2025 or something?
So counties have until July of 2025 to opt in. And if they haven't at that point, I think they mandatorily get opted in.
Oh,
So,
there really is no way out of it.
right,
And
You
if you
just
would-
get
they're
it on
just-
money.
they're
or-
getting-
Yeah, you get
they're
the money
giving us-
earlier, so.
they're giving us time to have our bridges evaluated is
Right.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
you-
this mandate is set to pass in 25.
Right. So you're gonna be at this spot anyway, but you're gonna
Right.
have missed out on money for
3 years.
3 years.
2-3
yeah.
years, yep.
all right, I'll make the motion, approve the all system permit map submitted.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Beyond that, as you guys have probably seen coming in, we got quite a bit of water. A lot of tile lines still frozen, pipes under the road are still falling, still frozen. So you got water sitting on one side versus the other. We are in the process of trying to close a couple of roads where water is topped over the road. Texas Avenue southwest of Thor down by the county line is one of them. The Hardy guys told me there's another one. I can't remember where exactly now.
Up by the bridge for.
Up by Classy's.
Yeah.
Could be. For the most part, what's topping the road right now
It's
isn't,
just farm ponds, isn't it?
yeah. It's stuff that's normally drained by field tile and equalizer pipes
Yeah,
on each side. But the dredge ditches are running full.
yeah,
I
they're
mean,
taking
over-
water. I think once it warms up a little bit more, they'll open up and go away.
I think so too, but that's what we're dealing with right now. And I did wanna talk to you guys about looking into getting a secondary road credit card for some of these purchases that we're putting online. Currently, what we've been doing is I've just been using my personal credit card and charging it and then get reimbursed at claims time. What an impact here, I don't know, a week or two ago, found it on Amazon for $200 cheaper than anybody around here. So, I mean, the value's there. There's a lot of times that we book hotel rooms, things like that. It'd be nice to have
All right,
a card to put it on,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but
the cards that we've gotten, can we just add another one to that? Probably.
Can we do it that way?
What limit do you need to be on?
I'm looking at hotel rooms and things like that.
Couple
So, I mean,
thousand at the
yeah,
most.
$1,000 would be plenty.
Just a question, who's getting hotel reservations?
So we've got meetings, ISAC, county
I mean,
engineers.
it's pretty much you, I mean, also a lot of
It's
secondary
me,
roads guys.
Dave, Kim has a ICEOO meeting that she goes to once a year. It's not secondary roads guys. We do send them to some trainings. But typically those are 1-day trainings.
But you could pay for their registrations with this too.
Right. Which a lot of times registrations, they'll send us invoices. It's things like hotels that require a credit card
Yeah.
to be put down. There's some companies that don't want to charge, the US Postal Service is one of them. So for us to buy stamps, we have to call them, get the current price of stamps. Tell them that, give us what it's gonna cost to buy 2 rolls of stamps. Cut a check and then we show up down there with a check.
It's a lot of hassle.
Yeah. Or you could just say, put it
Yeah,
on
you can
this
put-
card.
That addition, like Rick said, to the county credit card, so to speak, to the secondary roads, that's no problem.
Okay, I'll just get with Trish and we'll get it figured out. Okay,
Sounds
Probably
good.
have a motion.
Hey,
to
Ben,
Do that.
yes,
you wanna go over our conversation the other day about Isaac Walton or the Berkmer Bridge, excuse me? I had a concerned citizen call me,
yes.
out there.
Go
A
ahead.
truck went across it.
So
Go ahead.
I can't remember what day it was off the top of my head, but Bruce had received a phone call from a gentleman out on 215th Street east of Berkmer Bridge. That while he was out in that area, saw a van truck. Is that
Yep.
what
A
van
semi with a
truck?
van on it.
A semi with a van on the back of it
Went
go
across
across,
Berkmer
go
Bridge?
across Berkmer
Wow,
Bridge.
he's a gutsy guy.
Yeah,
I'll say.
so it's not uncommon. We have seen it some. The last time I remember hearing about it was when the Highway 3 bridge over by the golf course was closed for construction. It's load rated at 5 ton right now. We could look at, I think what that guy was looking at is he wanted additional flags or warnings of some sort to point out that it's a 5 ton bridge. We can look at installing some flagging. Aside of that, you'd be looking at like your flashing beacons, like
And,
everything else.
yeah.
It's already posted.
It's already posted. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on it one time and I turned around halfway across and went back. Really, I didn't want to walk across it. That whole bridge was,
Yeah.
bouncing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, we stuck $250,000 into it back in 2006,
Mhm.
and that was enough to get it reopened, because when I started here, it was closed. It was foot traffic only.
Yep.
And at that time, the people that lived on the west side wanted to see it back open. Now, since then, talking to Jim Thoden and those guys, they wish it never would have been reopened. But.
Well,
we
the
have
other
it
side,
open.
the other side is, the person wondered if someone from out of the area got caught on that road and didn't realize when he went by the where all the leaves are, what is that, Texas?
Where the compost pile is
Yeah,
at?
the compost pile,
Kentucky.
Kentucky, when he went by there. But see, that's the last corner unless you'd turn around and say Rodney Christopher's yard. But if you're going and all of a sudden you're caught, you just blow the thing. And I guess for lack of a better term, if we had something up there by that corner that said, you know, flags or whatever we decide, he just didn't want that old historic bridge, which I understand, to be with the semi on it in the river.
Yeah.
Right.
I said I'd bring it up, so.
We do have a load rated bridge ahead, or a 5-ton load limit ahead sign at that intersection of Kentucky. Because like Bruce said, it is the last intersection that somebody could turn around. We can try and bring more attention to it by putting some of our cloth flags behind it.
There you go.
And honestly,
If I was driving the truck and I came up on that bridge, I'd figure out how to back up.
yeah,
That's right,
and
that's right.
Rodney's driveway there is plenty wide enough, you could have backed in.
Yeah.
It's that old.
The
adage,
guy just said, I'm gonna run it.
Yeah. It's the old adage, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, you can't fix stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Thank
is
you.
all I have.
Thanks, Ben.
All right.
Do we
Thank you.
need to put that credit card on next week's agenda to approve it formally?
Okay.
I think it's good.
All right.
Gotta have a motion for that.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you later about it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. All right. Okay, adopt a resolution 2023-5, a resolution adopting the Humboldt County Compensation Board salary recommendations with adjustments by the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors. Okay, so they did for the attorney, auditor, recorder, supervisors and treasurer at 13%, the sheriff at 17%. We resolved to go down to 33%, which would do the attorney, auditor, recorder, and treasurer 8.71, supervisors at 5%, and sheriff at 11.39. So do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the salary set for by the compensation board with the supervisor lowering it.
Give me a second.
I'll second 2023-5.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Then the first one.
Okay, and then we have adopt resolution 2023-6, a resolution adopting the Humboldt County right to use lease assets.
This is something new that just passed. And if we lease equipment or any other thing, that we should have this in place. So it's just putting us on file in the event that we would do that.
So is this a state thing that's come across?
Yes.
Alright,
Funny for all the years,
Just-
never had one.
alright, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-06.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous motion carries. Okay. Okay, then next we have resolution 2023-7-07, a resolution to withdraw from the articles of agreement which form the workforce development chief elected official consortium for the workforce innovation and opportunity. First, really, we need to go down to the 2023-08 because it's a resolution to amend the article of agreement which formed the Iowa workforce. And that is to be able to withdraw. It's a 30-day. This has gone through, both of these have gone through all the county attorneys and everybody has approved them, the county attorneys. So basically, it's giving us the 30 days prior to the beginning of the upcoming fiscal year that we can withdraw. I'm going to pass these out to everybody. This is the first one, basically, is we had a meeting with Michelle McNurt on 24th, and here again, we got information that wasn't completely, we're supposed to decide by the 28th who our subrecipient is, but they still haven't come up with the exact outlines and rulings to us, and how can we make a decision by February 28th if they haven't even got the rulings down. The second one is Western Iowa Workforce Development Group. Their group has unanimously decided to leave their region and give it back to the state to take care of. We have had several meetings on this. There is, the state has agreed that if we do not carry forward with our region, the state will take it over. There's been a lot of changes within our workforce. We feel that, and I'm just going to put it out there, since Beth Townsend has taken over, she has not done a very good job of giving information out to us. This law was put into place in 2014, and the state of Iowa chose not to participate in this and start working on these changes and getting us everything. And then in 2019, the Department of Labor said, you will do it or you will lose all your funding. Local control, everybody says, oh, you have local control. We have no control over this money, but we have all the liability of this money. If for some reason something would, the state, because the state has basically, you can do this, you cannot do this. They're kind of vague on what you, some of the wording is kind of vague. So if we do decide to do, our local board, see, the CEOs don't even decide what you can do. It's the local boards. If they agree to it and they do it, and the state come back and says, oh no, you can't do that. We as the county, so say we overspend 100,000 or misspend 100,000. There's us 6 counties would have to pay back that 100,000. So we have all the liability for it, but really no control over it. And so the Northwest, the group that we were gonna join with, because we didn't have enough money, basically, because the part of this a WIOA ruling is we have to have an executive director. We don't have the money for it.
You don't have the money to hire that.
No, we don't have the money for it. We can only use 10%. The state gets to keep 25% of our money, but we only get to spend 10% of that for administration and for board staff and for financial. The big thing with the subrecipient is, since I'm the Cleo, if we went ahead with this, Trish could be responsible for having to bring that money in, having to then pay it out when the fiscal agent then decided, got bills, he would pay it, he'd have to do reimbursement, then give it to Trish would have to, it's just a conglomeration of 5 different fingers having to figure out what needs to be done. And it's even hard to explain. Can you believe that? But I'm sorry, it just gets me so worked up. But anyway, it's just craziness. And we tried to explain to them when we had our meeting last November, December, we've had so many meetings, I can't remember, that we can't make our auditors do anything. They can choose to do it or not. So how can you say that we as a Cleo, because I'm the Cleo, have to take this money into our coffers She'd have to put in a ledger,
And
have,
dole it all back out.
and dole it all back out. It does not make sense. So, and several, this is an Iowa law. That isn't even a federal law. So yeah, okay, so I'll get off my soapbox. And so this is just explaining it. Northwest has already, their area has said we're done. All of the other counties within, they haven't all voted on it. Pocahontas has already voted on it. They're not gonna participate. If for some reason we are the only county left that does not, we're responsible for all the money. So my recommendation is that we adopt resolution 2023-2008, and then that also, then we go into the 2023-07, which says we're going to resign from this.
Where does that,
Go ahead, Eric.
well, where does that leave us bottom line after all this?
Bottom line, all the services are still gonna be put into place. They're gonna be run from the state. The other thing I forgot to bring up is because our unemployment is so low, our region, we're gonna lose even more money. And so then we're still only gonna have 10%. Even if we would have joined with Northwest, we were probably gonna lose around $100,000 in funding. And our budgets weren't that big to begin with anyway. So it takes care of displaced workers. It takes care of disabilities, people with disabilities. It takes care of the youth, which are, is it 14 to 24? No. Yeah, 16 to 24, you know, if they quit school, be able to get them into, and all that'll all be taken care of. That'll all, our workforce center down in Fort Dodge will still be in place. They'll just go down there and, which is what they would have had to do to begin with anyway. Teresa Smith, our Teresa White Larson was, our one-stop operator who took care of a lot of that, but they had a person in the, Iowa Workforce Development. And so now the center down there will take care of all that.
So you said
Go ahead,
our
Bruce.
08 resolution, the county attorneys have looked at it. Has our county attorney looked at it and he's good with us getting out of this?
Yes, John looked at it on Friday and let us know that he was fine with the wording and everything was good
Okay,
for both resolutions.
okay.
And so have all the other county attorneys in our 6-county region. They've all looked at it too and they approved it.
And we're gonna hand it back to the state and say, here, you figure out this mess and then we'll join.
Yeah,
Well, there's not gonna be any county involvement, if I'm saying that
you
right?
are correct. No county involvement. You are correct.
Because
And
it's the convoluted thing that works you up, and I can see why, is if you try to work with it, it just doesn't work.
we have hit every time they say something, we've done it. Our local plan, they sent it back to us 3 times and it was just silliness. And it was hours and hours and hours that they spent on that. You know, same way with Western Iowa, they were the first ones to go. It's gonna be a third of the counties of the state. We're hoping this will wake up, and we're hoping that Governor Reynolds will see what's going on. If a third of the counties in Iowa walk away from it, they've got to eventually start figuring out something's not being run right. Hopefully, that is what we're hoping.
Won't bet on it.
I know. But,
See some of the other crap the state's been full of.
yeah, so I don't know. It's a hard situation. It was really a hard decision for all of us to do because none of us, once we found out that none of the services were going to be affected and that it wasn't, and that we still had, I think our biggest issue with all of the counties here is that we don't have any local say. They keep saying we have local say. We don't have any local say in it, but yet we have the liability.
Responsibility.
Yes, we have the responsibility, the liability for the money. That is the biggest thing.
So can we pass 2023-8 before we do 2023-7?
I think we have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it allows you to do that.
I didn't know if you could do it backwards.
Yeah.
Well,
does that matter? I didn't even think about that when I saw that on the agenda.
Think it should.
I don't think so. I'd make a motion that we adopt resolution 2023-08, which is a resolution to amend the Articles of Agreement which form the Workforce Development Chief Elected Officer Consortium of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
I,
Okay, motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-07. Resolution to withdraw from the Articles of Agreement which formed the Workforce Development Chief Elected Officers Consortium for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 14.
Second Dave's motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
I,
Okay, unanimous motion carries. All right. So we will be responsible until the end of June 30. End of the year. And then July 1 will be done. Okay. And you guys won't have to hear me talk about this again.
Relieve your anxiety.
Yes. You will get a copy of this scan once you sign it and then get it sent off to our executive director so we can get our letter going.
Okay.
Okay, all right, adopt resolution 2023-09, a resolution approving community betterment fund contributions for FY 23-24.
I would make that motion to adopt 2023-9.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, approve wage increase for Lindsay Curry, driver's license clerk from 21.20 to 22.20 per hour effective February 6, 2023.
Okay, I'll make the motion for that increase in salary.
Okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
I,
A motion carries. All right. Anything else with that?
We can just sign it.
Again?
I don't know. where else to sign
Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
All right, great. All right, approve quote from B&W Control Specialist for county road ditch spraying for $45,730.
All right, I'll make the motion for the B&W control specialist for the county. Road spraying at $45,730, and that is what a quote, which is a top end,
Big L.
not the exact price.
It's, yeah, it is a full.
Quite often, it's quite less than that.
Perfect.
I will second Rick's motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
I,
Sandy, can you use your like approved stamp? And then, because I need to get a copy of this back to B&W.
Do I have enough?
Yes, you do,
You do?
unless I stole it while I was in Griffith. It used to be in there.
Because they need that on their files as well.
Yep. We need more, but it works. I mean, it's
It's
light,
right.
but it needs,
Right. She squished it like a bug.
I want to make it dirty.
Find some ink for that.
That was kind of fun, really.
You should use it more often.
Anxiety out of that.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
All right, we're down to committee.
Stand.
Chris, just make sure I get a copy of that and I'll.
I
get
don't
it
know
back
why
to
that
me
does that
briefly.
once in a while. Yeah, that was Siri on my watch.
I'm not sure. I
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, we have to go back to the 13th, right?
yes.
On the 13th, the head farm bureau meeting. 6 o'clock. let's see. On Wednesday, the 15th, we had negotiations for the jailer. Had a Humboldt County housing meeting that got canceled. So it looks like all that week. The next week, we didn't have a meeting on Monday. Wednesday, we met, Sandy and I met up here for negotiations with jailers and the deputies and all that. Also had a Midas Zoom meeting on the 22nd. That should bring us up to the 27th today, right? That's it.
Okay, going back to the 13th, attended the Farm Bureau supper and meeting that evening. On Tuesday, the 14th, we had a Public Safety Commission meeting that morning. And of course, I'm sure you got that we had our meeting / budget work session last Wednesday. That's my official things.
Okay, on the 13th, I was also at the Farm Bureau meeting. Tuesday, the public safety meeting in the morning, the 14th. And on Fort Dodge Regional Landfill on the 21st in the evening. And then the county board of supervisors meeting on Wednesday. Our landfill meeting down there, I think I've talked many times about the slide, the garbage in the hill. And they're trying a different approach to get different ideas as to lessen the cost, as this is the first company come back 2.5 million, and by the time they got finished, it was over 5, their estimate. They just kept going up and up and up, and so now they're trying to find a different solution to the problem. And at the rate it's moving, it's gonna take about 150 years to get to that stream. You know, it's moving like 1/4 of an inch a year, you figure. I said, how do you even measure that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, you can see a crack. I said, why don't we just put that stream in a pipe and not worry about it? But they won't let you do that either. You know, like a drainage.
Oh, I
put a
see.
septic-
tile out of it.
Yeah,
Make it a drainage
then you
district.
won't have to worry about the sliding down there.
You know
in
what?
150
In
years.
150 years, there's nobody right
Yeah,
now
around.
talking about it, that's gonna have to worry about it.
I know. But you're working with the DNR.
On that stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay,
They love it, because they're not spending their money to fix that problem that's not really a problem.
yeah.
Yeah, they love that.
Hey, Bruce.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. On the 13th, I was at the Farm Bureau meeting also. The 22nd, we had the budget workshop. I listened in on that also. Then in the afternoon, I had a UDMO financial meeting that I called in or zoomed in, I guess, on. Then on the 23rd, a Zoom meeting for CFR. Last Thursday, that's it.
Okay. On the 13th, I also went to the Farm Bureau meeting. On the 15th, I had a Zoom with, it was the IWD Western 28E dissolution meeting. And then on the 15th, I had union negotiations also in the afternoon here at the courthouse. On the 16th, we had our North Central Workforce Development meeting for Iowa Workforce Development down in Fort Dodge on the 16th. On the 21st. Oh, no, I had to cancel those meetings because I had to go. My mom was in the hospital. I was supposed to have a meeting with the kitty cat daycare, so I had to cancel that. Then the 22nd, the courthouse budget. And Oh, and then Friday, I had another Zoom meeting with the state for Iowa workforce development. That's it.
So Sandy, I have a question. This resolution that we adopted 2023-9 on the community betterment. Though that is when we were going through our budget, that's just cleaning up some of those funds, right? That we have been in the changeover. So I
Right.
guess that I don't want people to think we've created some new monster. We're
No,
trying
it's-
to put our ducks in a row, the way I
Right.
looked at it.
Taking it out of community betterment instead of the
Betterment.
general fund.
Correct.
All right,
Which is
just
where we
wanted to
should
bring
have
that
it.
up.
Yep,
Good one, Bruce.
we're good. Thank you, Bruce.
And the other thing I would like, I saw on Facebook yesterday, we lost another mayor.
Yeah.
Roxy, passed away. And I think that, you know, all these small towns around us, we lost the Thor mayor not too long ago, and now we've lost Roxy. There's a lot of people that live in these towns that, you know, if they're going to continue to thrive, they're going to have to step up like she did for a long time, being a mayor, and take those positions. Because if you're going to have government, you got to have somebody run them. And we appreciate all she has done for the Rutland community, and she's been a staple over there forever. So they're going to miss her dearly. So
Yeah, they are. She's done it for as long as I can remember. Oh, that's too bad. Okay. Thanks for letting us know that, Bruce.
That safety meeting, am I on that or?
Oh, yes, that's right. Tomorrow, we have a safety meeting at 8:30 here at the courthouse, and now that you're the vice chair, you were on it, Dave.
That's what I thought.
I think it's at 8, usually at 8:30.
8:30, yeah.
I know,
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
okay. Do I